So I went out last night for like the first time in like quite some time, ever since I did notice that the weather started cooling down. So I was like, you know what, I don't really have any reason to go out anyway. And then I did last night, and I was like, okay, let's go out. And I did not realize that Arizona was fucking cold now. It was cold and unforgiving, and stupid me decided to wear shorts and flip-flops. I was like, it's gonna be like 50 outside, I'll be fine. No, it was like 40 something at least, and that is very cold to me. So I'm bringing you guys a hail team. I have an Abomasnow. I just don't really use hail because I don't know what goes good on a UU hail team. So I was like, let's put stuff and hope it works. And I sped up this first part. This is honestly just me fucking around with the Chandelure because I realized that it's faster than me. You know, after the second turn, I was like, you know what? If he's going for the Shadow Ball and I'm not seeing lefties or Life Orb or anything like that, maybe he's choiced. So we'll just go ahead and, you know, sub-stall with Leech Seed a little bit, see if that forces him to switch out so I can get some health back, you know, get some things going. So I sped up this portion of the match, you know, pretty slow. I think I also decided to double protect somewhere along the way, you know, just to get up enough health in order to be able to live it, I guess, was my thought process there. Because I was kind of iffy on whether or not I could take another Shadow Ball from that range. Turns out the first one did a lot, and then it was like, you know, maybe I won't be able to live it from this range, and I'm doing pretty good. And then he switches up moves all of a sudden, goes for Flamethrower. I'm like, what the actual fuck was that? If you were bluffing it for that long, why did you just... It frustrated me to no end, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my Mamoswine. Now, this is a Scarf Mamoswine. I would be running Icicle Crash on it, but I actually run Ice Shard just to fuck with Scarf Flygon. That is the only reason I run Ice Shard instead of Icicle Crash, as you're probably going to see in a little bit. But this is I think this is an Adamant Scarfer. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and, you know, stay in, keep going for the Earthquake, see how much it does to Deoxys, see what kind of build he is. And he takes that Earthquake really fucking well. I mean, granted, I'm not Life Orb or anything like that, but that stab, I expected to do a little more, and he fortunately ends up going for the Toxic above screens or hazards or anything like that. So, you know, I don't really mind having it. Plus, this thing had the Snow Cloak, so it would have been shaky on whether or not he actually hit it. Fortunately for him, it does end up hitting it. So I'm gonna go into my Chandelure. This is a Specs one, I believe, which is why this next Shadow Ball is going to do so much to it. It surprisingly doesn't take it out. I'm just underestimating Deoxys' defenses. I mean, I know it doesn't really have a fantastic HP, which is probably more the reason that I'm surprised. You know, I'm trying to take advantage of that. So I'm going to go for a Stab. I think this is a timid one as opposed to a modest one, which kind of explains why it doesn't take it out. You know, had it been modest, that would have been a one-shot, but he's able to just get off a free Toxic. I think the Hail might kill him. That's kind of what I was expecting, you know, hoping for, hopes and dreams, get that under my Christmas tree kind of thing. No, not going to happen. So looks to be like he lived with probably around a 10th. So he's going to go ahead and switch out, you know, probably suspecting that I'm Specs with that kind of damage and go into his Escavalier as I go for the Shadow Ball. It'll still do a pretty decent chunk just because Chandelure has, you know, a pretty fucking high spec attack. You know, I think Rick made a Facebook update that it has the highest non-Uber spec attack in the game. And that's pretty high, so 25% despite a resisted hit. I don't know what his special defensive investment is, but, you know, that's not bad. I guess it had the potential to do way worse. Turns out he goes for the Swagger on the switch to my Machamp, which I don't really use Machamp too often. This is a bulk up set that I made back in 4th gen, and I was like, you know what, we'll just go with it. I think it's got lefties on it as well, which is why I decided to bring it. I was like, you know what, it resists rock, and, you know, it's got a lot of HP. We should be good to go to use it on a Hail team, I suppose. That was the logic I had at the time. So I hit myself in confusion, which first off is going to hurt. I got 4 arms to do it with, and that's going to hurt pretty bad. So he decides to go for the Toxic here. Now, I'm not Guts, I'm just regular bulk up. I don't even know if calling regular and bulk up is a thing, but I'm bulk up, 3 attacks, and I'm not Guts, I'm no guard, so I'm just going to try to squeak off a Dynamic Punch, you know, through this confusion, and hopefully I don't end up killing myself off to Toxic, to Hail, and all that, since Poison is now nullifying my leftovers. But thanks to that, you know, +2 Swagger is just going to go ahead and demolish his face, and I will proceed to punch everything in the tit. Now, there's one thing, if you're looking at his team choice from earlier and remembering it, it's like, why does he not send in Tornadus now? And now, I kind of understand why he didn't do it, because he probably would have wanted to take me out with a, you know, a different move, since I don't think Hurricane has its usual accuracy. It might be lowered in Hail, I could be wrong, it's an assumption I'm making, kind of like when people think that, that Solar Beam doesn't get, what is it? when Solar Beam gets 2 turns and like Sand, it still gets 1 turn of recharge, so kind of along those lines. But turns out he's like a weird mid-game sash set, and then he punches himself in the face too, and I was rolling at that part. I was like, if you turn out to be sash and that's the reason you're bringing it in, and you punch yourself in the face, I will laugh. And he did, and Hail took him out. Or if it didn't, Hail would have taken him out anyway, but I laughed. So Rhyperior comes in, you know, expecting to take a hit reasonably well. Turns out it has Protect. Now, there's really no way I could have predicted Protect on a Rhyperior, but, you know, had I somehow done it, I definitely would have gone for the bulk up in that moment. Toxic damage is bleeding me pretty dry, but the thing is had I gone for a bulk up here, not really knowing what to expect, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna punch everything until I die, because I want to save switching. I'm at +2, I think my confusion's worn off too, so I'm just gonna go for it. He tries to go for the double protect, fails unlike me, you know, at the beginning of the match. So getting a little bit lucky in terms of breaking out with the confusions and things like that, and +2 solid rock just does so, or, you know, +2 damage, you know, trying to get through solid rock, doesn't really do the job. In fact, leaves him with almost the same chunk that Deoxys D was at. If you were watching yesterday's match, I'm willing to bet you it was 20 on both of them. But now you know what, they got drastically different HP amount. It's funny. So I ended up killing myself off owing to Life Orb recoil and whatnot. So I sent in my Beartic. Now Beartic's got the Snow Cloak, which is what I'm going to try to bank on right now, that he ends up missing his next move. Or he hits himself with Confusion. You know, Dynamic Punch really helps me get a safe sub. So he doesn't do a lot to himself, but it's to the point where the Hail will be able to take him out. And I'm sitting nice and cozy behind a sub, and, you know, if Snow Cloak kicks in, decides to be kind, since that's the only reason you would really run that ability. I cannot wait until Swift Swim is released on it, by the way. I will start running Rain Teams just to use that, because that is fucking great. So, it turns out his Deoxys actually has Psycho Boost on it, which I did not see coming. I usually only expect, like, Nightshade and things like that. Nightshade would have broken my sub, because I am running max HP. And, you know, Beartic doesn't have the base, what is it, 100 HP that we would be looking for? I think that's, no, it's not base 100. It's the thing that lets you make 404 subs. I forget what base that it is, but it turns out he goes for his move and actually misses it. Now, I think, what was it? It might have been the Hurricane. That could have been Snow Cloak kicking in. That could have been Shitty Accuracy kicking in. You know, both definitely helped out to an extent. So, it turns out Ice Cold Crash does not take him down, and I'm a little surprised by that. But he does hit his Hurricane now, and I'm like, okay, I should be able to take this reasonably well. But then again, I have not seen the item on it, so if it's Specs, then I'm in trouble. But it's Life Orb, so I live with 9. And then I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I can miss, or maybe he'll miss his next attack. That was my thought process anyway, but it turns out he just dies to Life Orb and Hail. So that's going to do it for the game. It was a little bit of a quicker one. I just kind of wanted to upload it because, god damn, it got cold really quick and I was not expecting it. So if you guys enjoyed it, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. That should definitely do it for me out of today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.